What is up, guys? Welcome to another video. Today I wanted to do a little bit of an FAQ on some of the questions I've been receiving about Superflat in general, and also a few more specific to my Superflat world here. And so I've recruited the help of my whoa, little cow on my shoulder. You know, most people have a angel and a devil on their shoulder. I just have a cow. Anyways, I recruited the help of my friend Dallas here. Hi, Dallas.
Howdy, Mog.
So he's going to be asking the questions. Dallas, are you ready to get into it?
You betcha.
All right, let's get started. Hit me with your first question, man.
How old is your world?
So my world was created on May 7th, 2012, which means we're going to be coming up on the 10-year anniversary of the Flat World this May, which is pretty crazy. But the first episode of the Flat World didn't come out until June 9th, 2012, over a month later, and that was just because I was brand new to YouTube at the time. I had to figure out how to edit it, create an intro, all that good stuff. And the version that I started on was 1.2.5, which was just a little patch to the 1.2 update that released on March 30th. The full 1.2 update introduced iron golems, believe it or not, jungle biomes. Jungle wood wasn't even in the game until that update. And then, you know, cats and ocelots as well. And redstone lamps were also a new addition in the 1.2 update. And fun fact, when I created my world, you still couldn't even trade with villagers until the 1.3 update, which was in August 1st, 2012, which basically allowed me to get redstone, glass, all sorts of essentials. So it's safe to say that without the 1.3 update, I probably wouldn't still be playing Superflat today.
How many Minecraft days have you played?
So I get this question a lot, and it always kind of makes me laugh because the whole trend of measuring time played in Minecraft days is relatively new. Usually in the past, people would use the playtime statistic that is in your save file. But unfortunately, there's a lot of reasons that I don't have an accurate number. In 1.7.2, they changed the way statistics were saved, and that ended up resetting my statistics. And then in addition to that, over the years, there have been several times where my file corrupted or I had to do some sort of weirdness to get my save file back. So long story short, my statistics have reset many times before, but currently they say that I've played for 84.29 days. The other reason this isn't a super accurate number is because I'm AFKing all the time while I'm at work, while I'm sleeping. So a lot of that is not me actually playing the game, it's just my player being in the game with the game running. But if I had to put it into Minecraft days, I'd say the absolute minimum would be 10,000 Minecraft days. It's likely much more than that. Let's just say if you counted AFKing, my accumulated playtime would probably be over 365 real life days, which kind of makes me want to throw up. Next question.
How did you get all that water?
So this question always kind of makes me chuckle a little bit because I don't think people realize just how easy it actually is to spread water one deep on a flat surface in Minecraft. So just to demonstrate to you, I'm going to boot up a brand new flat world, set a 1-minute timer, and we're going to see how far I can spread the water in just 1 minute. Ready, set, go. So as you can see, in just 1 minute, we were able to get a pretty good area covered, and the longer you do it, the faster it kind of goes because you're expanding on 2 different sides of that square at once, just by walking diagonally, placing water buckets. So hopefully that answers your question. I did place the water by hand, but it didn't take long.
How did you get to the Nether?
So this one is really easy to answer. You can get water from the farms at the villages, lava from the blacksmiths at the villages, and then iron from the iron golems. Craft some buckets up and use the water and lava to create obsidian. And you also might find iron and obsidian in the blacksmith chests. So back when I started my world, I got my flint and steel from the gravel that was on the village pathways. Nowadays, if you start a new world post 1.14, you'll need to find flint in the village Fletcher chest, and there's a 55.8% chance of getting 1 to 3 flint.
How did you get andesite, granite, and diorite?
Yeah, so these blocks have actually been craftable since they were introduced to the game, as far as I know, but I just think a lot of people don't know that because they've never had to craft them. It's basically just cobblestone and quartz will get you all those blocks.
How did you get to the end?
So this one's a bit of an interesting story. The typical default flat world does not spawn with strongholds generating, but one of the community members, Hobby, actually found a bug in 1.16.1 where strongholds were actually generating on Superflat worlds. It's weird though because the ender eyes don't work to locate them, so you just kind of have to come across them. And so when that update came around, I went into my world file and deleted the part of the game that tells Minecraft whether or not to generate structures. Then I went ahead and made a 1.16.1 version of my world, same seed and everything, and just copied that one little part of the file into the existing file. It's one of the more cheaty things I've done in my world, but I think it was worth it because Elytra and shulker boxes have completely revolutionized the Superflat world. And so if you're ever going to start your own Superflat world, I really recommend you start the world in version 1.16.1 and then upgrade it from there.
How did you get sand?
So the 1.14 update was maybe one of the most important updates for the flat world since they first introduced villager trading in 1.3. The reason why was because the Wandering Trader introduced so many different things that we never had access to, including all the different wood types, all different flowers, sea pickles, and then sugarcane and cactus, which unlock a whole bunch of stuff. So I've actually built a giant platform just for AFKing and spawning Wandering Traders because that's how important they are to my world. And the most important trade of all was the sand trade. Once I got my hands on a little bit of sand, it was as easy as building a sand duplicator over the end portal. And yeah, now I can duplicate as much sand as I need. And by the way, sand is the only thing that I duplicate on my world. There's just no other way to get it. So, you know, it's either that or just not have sand.
How did you get everything else?
If you have a question specifically on how I got anything else in my Superflat world, please feel free to leave a comment and ask me. I do reply to all the comments, I read all of them. But in general, if you're confused about how I got something, it's usually through villager trading, the Wandering Trader, or rarely through, you know, village loot chests, nether loot chests, end loot chests. Even cat gifts can get you a few items. You can get copper from converting zombies to drowned. Like I said, if there's anything else that you're not sure of, just feel free to ask.
What was the first thing you did in your flat world?
I spawned in.
We're in the middle of nowhere. All right, let's get going.
I killed some sheep to get a bed.
Usually in Superflat, you don't get a bed and the mobs destroy you at night, so.
I found a village.
Oh, found the village.
Then I used the water and lava to go to the Nether. And then I dug a big round hole.
I have created a big circle, which is going to be a tower going way up tall in the sky.
And turned it into the tower that we know and love today.
What motivates you to keep going?
So it's definitely safe to say that if I had never started the Let's Play or the YouTube channel, I wouldn't still be playing on this world. What really motivates me is the comments I get, and especially as of late, the comments have been so encouraging, so fun to read, so thank you so much to all the new people joining the channel. But I also draw a lot of inspiration from other YouTubers, you know, the Hermitcraft game, Lobo's Garage, WPC Builds is one I've been getting into lately. And a lot of my inspiration from builds just comes from Instagram. I like to sort my favorites into folders, and that way I can just look in there and have so much inspiration anytime I'm not sure what to do for a build.
How do you set goals for your world?
So it might sound a little crazy, but my favorite way to set goals in this game is to literally come up with an insane idea that I don't think I can ever finish. And the reason I like that strategy is because then I always have something to work on. Also, I feel like when you get to a certain point with your world, the goals just sort of come naturally. My suggestion would be to come up with a huge idea and then focus on chipping away at it by focusing on the farms and the infrastructure you need to make your life easier. And then after that, set rules for yourself. A couple examples are Etho's no torches rule, which I use on my own world as well.
As you know, one of the challenges is to not use any torches when this is all finished, right? So we want to hide the lighting as best as possible.
Any finished part of my world, I really strive to have no ugly torches sitting around and all hidden lighting. One of my personal goals is trying to disguise all of my technical farms as beautiful buildings, which I have a whole separate video about. So basically I have this huge goal of building this entire city around my base, and I'm always needing to get materials to reach this goal. For example, pretty soon I'm gonna need a really nice copper farm, and that'll give me a whole project to work on where not only do I have to build the copper farm, but then I have to figure out a way to make it look nice and, you know, make it fit into my world. Hopefully that makes sense.
Why did you start a Superflat world in the first place?
So Superflat worlds were announced on a tweet by Jeb on January 4th, 2012, and then added to a snapshot for the 1.1 version of the game. And shortly after they were released, I just became curious whether or not you could actually survive on a Superflat world. So I started a world, I made a basic wheat farm, and I was having a lot of fun with it. I then started another world with my friend Jason, and we played on there for a while, and we had a lot of huge ideas of what we could do with the Superflat world. And eventually I just had so many ideas, and it became so big and fun for me that I was like, man, I should really be recording this. So I basically started over from scratch, started recording, and the rest is history. If you want to know more about it, I've got a video called Superflat is the best mode in Minecraft on my channel. Go check that out.
What is your favorite part of your world?
This is another tough one to answer because I tend to be one of those people who is very self-confident in the things that I make. I studied art in college, and it was definitely a learning experience for me to be able to critique my own work with sort of a neutral eye. Usually, whatever I built last or whatever I made last is like my favorite thing in the world. So just as an example, some of the recent things I built on my world are the wood farm, the lighthouse. Right now, I love those builds so much. But there are a few areas in my world that I keep coming back to just because they feel so cozy to me. I would say this one little mountain area right here is definitely one of those areas. And the beach near Salacia and the new bridge that we built would also make that list. But if I have to pick one singular spot in the world that I love to stand the most, it would definitely be right here at the end of this road, because you get an amazing view of Salacia, and if my render distance is high enough, you can see the mountain in the background, the beach. Oh, it's just such an amazing view.
What upcoming project are you most excited for?
Right now, what I'm most excited about doing is the harbor project, where we're going to finish removing all the bedrock and get a nice shoreline in there and start building ships. The last time I tried to build a ship in Minecraft was probably like 2012, so I'm really excited to give that another shot.
What music do you use in your videos?
So a lot of my music comes from the classic, the OG, the GOAT, Kevin MacLeod, or in Compotech music, whatever it's called. Some of my other music that I use in my videos comes from an artist called Fantamenke. He's a really cool Swedish chiptune producer who I DM'd years and years ago on SoundCloud or something, and he gave me permission to use some of his songs in my videos. Super cool dude. I also did this pixel art for him forever ago, by hand, I might add. And if I use any other music, I always make sure to list it in the description of the video. Most of the questions I've gotten are actually about my own music, because I do use a lot of my own music in my videos. So if there's ever a song in the video that you can't find in the description, it's probably just something I made, because making your own music is the easiest way to avoid copyright. And if there's enough demand for it, maybe I'll upload some of the songs that I made for my videos so you guys can listen to them whenever you want.
I am starting a Superflat world. What should I know?
The one thing I would recommend to anyone interested in starting a flat world is to start in the 1.16.1 update. The reason being, if you start in this update, strongholds should generate in your world. The only issue is that Eyes of Ender and the locate command will not help you find these strongholds. So you're gonna have to search it out manually by just looking around. But I can't stress enough how much the end has made the flat world meta so much more fun for me. So if you're gonna do it yourself, I really do recommend doing it with strongholds. The only other thing to keep in mind is that the only biome in Superflat is the plains biome, so there's a lot of fun creatures and critters that you're not gonna ever see on the Superflat world. Well guys, that is gonna have to be it for today. This took a surprisingly long time to edit, but I hope it was helpful, hope it answered some of your questions, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to give the video a rating, maybe a subscribe, whatever you please, and I'll see you next time.